But this is not. This isn't a surprise. We have. This is exactly why Donald Trump, and if you guys remember, this is why Donald Trump and Elon Musk were forcing everyone to go back to work, because they wanted to actually see. They said, if you don't show up to work, you're gonna be fired. Well, it wasn't because they were desperate to get people back in the office. They wanted to see how many jobs were fake in the government. And so they ran this through here in Michigan and just found 4,277 phantom jobs. It's up in the jumbo up there. But they've been doing this in every single state. They've been doing it in the federal government as well. And again, if you guys remember Doge, they were forcing people to come back to work. And they said, if you don't come back to work within whatever 3 weeks, then you're going to be fired automatically. And it's because of this phantom job thing. Yeah. Oh, watch. Go ahead.
Yeah, Texas. I think we're third in the nation, or top 3 in the nation for property taxes. It's devastating us here. It's ridiculous, and I guarantee you the same stuff's going on. It's basically the state equivalent of the fake corporations and stuff, the NGOs they were creating at the federal level and funding them with all this bullshit. That's what they're doing. It goes all the way down to the state level, and I mean, just imagine if we could eliminate all the state level fraud, what your property taxes would be. It would be phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is about Michigan, our economy's been pretty much gutted since since they started sending all the jobs to China after 1994. It's just by the mid 2000s we were completely gutted. And in Michigan, you guys might be aware, but in the 1930s to the 50s, Detroit was like the #1 economy in the world. So there was a massive amount of money in Michigan, and just like how California is now, when there's a bunch of money flying around, they raise taxes. They just want to gut you, the bankers. And but then they gutted our economy and sent all the jobs out of here, but they never lowered the taxes. So we still have crazy, super high taxes, and that's why most businesses don't even want to come to Michigan. The only way they keep, like General Motors and Ford up here in Michigan, is they give them tax breaks. They just say, you straight up, you're a big company here, you don't have to pay taxes, and in order to keep them in Michigan. But for anyone else that wants to come and do business here, and property taxes and all that, it's absolutely insane. It's out of control. It's very similar to how California is, because they had that. Michigan was essentially California before California, is my point. So yeah, I feel your pain. It's pretty ridiculous here. What other news do we got besides Michigan being corrupt? So go ahead, Rush.
Just the international news, pretty interesting that North Korea went to the celebration and military parade that China just had. And China, as he announced, his military has the strength for the New World Order. So you're very curious to see what will happen from that. But lots of people are talking about the China military parade they had over the weekend.
Yeah, China's trying to be the new world police. They're trying to take over. They have, they're pretty close to America in regards to economy and military might. They're the closest one, and now they're trying to usurp us. It's not going to work, obviously, because everything China has, they steal from us. They can't come up with anything on their own because Chinese people have small brains and they're retarded. But, what are you going to do? Let them try. Let them sit there and get chimped out. I did put a post up there. Rashida Tlaib speaking of Michigan, she's out of Dearborn, Michigan. If you guys don't know who Rashida Tlaib is, and she's there calling for all of her supporters to mobilize and take over. So imagine that. Rashida Tlaib out of Dearborn is calling for them to mobilize and take. This lady's totally insane. Like, there's less than 300,000 of her kind here in Michigan, and they're surrounded by like a 30 miles of blacks, and then they got to get into like Hillbillyville. It's never gonna happen. These people are so cooked. Hopefully they try anyways. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun game, but we'll see. Yeah, Overwatch, go ahead, join in there.
Yeah, General, I really wanted to see if you guys have any more insight today. It definitely looks like Trump and RFK Jr. Trump is positioning himself with the big pharma and this COVID shit to basically set up the narrative to say, hey, put up or shut up. And it looks like they lied to me. It looks like he's trying to position himself to be the victim on that with Operation, I can't think of the name right now. I'm having a brain fart, but the COVID thing.
Operation Warp.
Yeah, Operation Warp Speed, and it looks like he's positioning himself to say, hey, they need to put up their data because they say all this stuff was great and it helped people, and they're not going to be able to do that. And then he's kind of putting it out there like, were we lied to? And so I think he's setting up the narrative and making a move there. And it's going to wake up all the people that still there's still a lot of older people in MAGA that think that was a good thing somehow. So it's going to wake all them up. Pharma is going to get exposed, and then he can say, look, we were all lied to. Now let's go get them. I think that's where he's going.
I hope so, Overwatch. I mean, this did all kind of come out of nowhere, and him bringing this up, there wasn't really anything prompting this. So maybe this is the switch that's going to be flipped, and now we're going to see RFK actually trying to make America healthy again. Get the vaccines away from our children, stop the mRNA vaccines for viruses that have 99.9% survival rate. I mean, it's ignorant what we're doing as civilization, and seeing RFK get on board and not really come out against it, frustrated me. But at the same time, I think he really had to build his ammunition, build the actual statistical support that. I mean, we all know the statistics and the information regarding this. Maybe make an ironclad case in order to go after big pharma, which would be amazing. That'd be a huge win for America. We can recoup some of that wealth, maybe also from these major pharmaceutical companies, who many of them produce their products in India and China, have completely sold out America for the global homo. I would love to see them pay a little bit of retribution.
Yeah,
but I do agree. It does seem like they're staging that Overwatch. So one way or another, we're going to get some additional information on Big Pharma.
Yeah, I thought it initially, and then it just seems like they're expanding on that. So it definitely looks like that's the move. But I want to see what the general has and see what other news there is. Expecting to be blown away by another great show as usual.
Good morning, fellas. It's been a while since I've stopped by. Thought I'd stop by the space. Hope you guys are doing well.
Doing great, Walter. Yep. Good morning. We just discussing the topics of the day. I'm hoping Trump starts to address immigration again, and we can start seeing an update to ICE.gov and see an update to the deportation.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a massive recruitment drive happening in Texas again pretty soon. It's really nice. All of the people that applied, I appreciate that. And if anyone's still interested, again, drop me a message.
Walter, do you know the training cycle for ICE? How long is it?
It depends on which you're going into. Deportation officers, it can take a few months. Some of them can take close to half a year, depending on what you're going into, what educational background you have. For me personally, it took me around 5 to 6 months to get through it all because I had a background beforehand. I had a criminal justice background as well. It really just depends on like your background, what you're going into, and you're an idiot or not. No offense, but you should have at least a college degree or something if you're going into law enforcement. It saves you a lot of time and headache.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what college is in like Oklahoma, I wouldn't say people should have to have a college degree to get into it just frustrates me because now we're on a perpetual hold for the next 6 months for major deportation.
It's not like with a background, it could be like 16 weeks of like basic training if you don't know what you're doing, and you could like speed run that process with the right background.
Right, but I'm sure there's minimal training requirements.
Yeah, but like if you don't have like any background at all, it's like 16 weeks of hell to like learn basic shit if you don't have a background that could save you that time.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm just frustrated though that we're going to have the next 6 months where you're going to have to stand by and wait for these people to be trained in this permanent workforce for a temporary problem, unless they're thinking that this is going to be a forever problem and we're never really going to address the immigration. I just think all of this just seems really fake and gay until we enforcement and now federal court to do this one-time mass deportation. It just frustrates me. It seems like we're using the training now and the delay of personnel. And this is exactly what I said a few months ago. I said, oh, well, ICE is talking about personnel issues and people quitting and these types of things. And so now it's just going to be a personnel issue for the next year. And which I understand when you're hiring influx of people, you are going to have a personnel issue. I feel like this and down the road, we get a whole bunch of nothing continuing to happen.
We'll get there. I just hope that we get the manpower. And like I said, please, like anyone, like we need people. We need you. It's funny. It's that one.
So how much are they increasing the ICE department by? Do you know? It was 70,000 people, or
not 70,000. It's very little turnout from what I heard. I can't give specific numbers currently because we're still going through applications. But I wouldn't say it's
right. But they're not doubling the size of ICE, are they?
It's a possibility. It depends on the influx of people that we get because we're still sorting through applications right now.
I mean, even with double the numbers that are coming out right now, we're still not going to achieve 14 million in 4 years.
I mean, it's possible. Like, you've had third world countries. I think it was either Pakistan or Afghanistan. It was Pakistan, and they were able to deport over 3 million people within a short amount of time with their limited resources. So I think at first,
right, because they actually address the problems, and this us using ICE and only using ICE, because I've talked to my local law enforcement and they say that their hands are tied. The ICE has come in and trained some people with state law enforcement and given them some of the ID verification, fingerprint scanners and biometric scanners that ICE is using to determine if these people are here legally or not, and only the state law enforcement has that. So the local law enforcement is completely unempowered when it comes to these issues. And I'm pretty sure in Pakistan they probably mobilized their entire government, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to take a mobilization of the entire government. As long as we're depending on ICE and ICE alone to do these deportations, we're never going to see any significant deportations or any significant change. Is where my frustrations kind of lie. It shouldn't all be on the shoulders of ICE and Border Patrol. It should be on the shoulders of the entire federal government.
I agree, and that's why the general and his program is necessary, because if you don't know what an American is, if you don't have this conceptualization in your head of what it is in the body of politics, then deportation will be impossible if you have any Indian that can come here and be an American. So I would say what you're doing will help and contribute to deportation in terms of politics and shifting the Overton window.
Yeah, sorry guys, I spilled my coffee all over the place. I was cleaning that up. Just to get back to what Overwatch was saying real quick, before we move on too much from that, the writing's on the wall. Trump's going after the big pharma. We've already seen him wage war on big pharma. This isn't a surprise. He's already forced them all to bring their production back to the United States. He's forced them to give us the lowest prices in the first world. And we also see like Tulsi Gabbard going at Fauci. We see some of these other departments also going after Fauci. And Trump's already been blaming China for this for a long time. And now they're going to tie Fauci into it. I put a post up there of Trump making statements on autism, things like that in the past. So Trump knows it's just going to come down to they're building a case. And again, Trump doesn't even have all his guys in. I do think he's trying to wait for that. So like John Thune, who's been dragging his feet to get all Trump's picks in there. I think once we see that, things are going to move a lot faster. To Rush's point, it's when they had Eric Prince come up and said for $25 billion he'll get 500,000 of these people out a month, and Trump decided to go with a permanent workforce rather than contracted out. I think Trump is trying to put Americans back to work, and this is kind of the way he's helping people get back into the labor force as a means for this. But yeah, it's gonna take some time. In Michigan here, we're putting bills through so that the sheriffs can work with ICE, and there's already quite a few states that have already signed into law where the sheriffs have to work with ICE. They don't have a choice. So we'll see. I don't know why Florida isn't doing that. I don't know what the hell DeSantis is sitting on his ass for about having local law enforcement and the sheriffs forced to work with ICE. But yeah, I mean, there seems to be things moving in that direction. To Walter's point,
I'm understanding that's coming down federally from us.
Well, what was it? North Carolina was the first state to do it. Was it North Carolina or South Carolina? I can't remember which one it was, but they already forced all of their sheriffs and local law enforcement to work with ICE. So we'll see. I mean, you're only going to get that though out of red states. You're not going to get that out of blue states, and that's the problem. But I do think that Trump isn't just waiting and expecting ICE to do it. He's got the National Guard in there helping. He's building out all the infrastructure in order to get these people out as well. So like Alcatraz, we had a guy in the space a while back, and he said that he's in the construction industry, and there was at least 15 other facilities like Alcatraz going in across the country. So they're building out the infrastructure in order to make it happen, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I do, but again, I think because Trump isn't really a Republican, right? He's kind of, MAGA is something else. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat. He hijacked the Republican side and got the support from the Republicans, but what MAGA is not Republican. So that's why he's having such a hell of a time with Republicans and Democrats, because he's throwing a wrench in the entire uniparty and both sides are seeing that the status quo is getting gutted out, and they have all their uniparty supporters like AIPAC and all these other foreign governments backing them. So they're gonna try to make it as difficult as possible for Trump. But Trump has a lot of dirt on these guys because of the Epstein files. I think he's gonna be using that dirt that he has to start moving in the direction. John Thune just said last week that he's gonna fast track the rest of Trump's picks. But yeah, go ahead, Russ, jump in.
No, I was going to, just whenever you landed, I was going to say that cooperating with ICE is what pretty much every red state is doing. And North Carolina did pass the bill to cooperate with ICE, but the way the federal laws are currently established is ICE are the only ones that can detain someone for illegal immigration, and they're the only ones that can process them. So yeah, the local sheriff can work with them, they can hold them, but they have to have ICE come in and do the fingerprints. ICE is the one that has to take them to the detainment facilities. It's not like they can sit in the local jail until ICE can get to them. If ICE can't get to them in a timely manner, they have to release them all across this country. That's the status quo for sheriffs. And in the blue states, the sheriffs aren't even working with them. They're not even calling ICE. So I mean, it is the situation that we're in. And really for mass deportations like Florida, Texas. You think we would start to see mass deportation spinning up with the support of the state government, and we're not seeing that. To me, it all seems extremely fake. Going to get deportations of criminal illegals in this country and broken the law.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize as they take their children to school. Now that all the schools are they're starting to realize how effed up this whole thing is and how many invaders are actually in the country versus before. The same thing happened in the UK. I posted out the stats on that yesterday, and people are absolutely pissed because they have all these schools in the UK where, I mean, they have entire schools in the UK where there's not a single British child in the school. They're all brown. There's not a single white kid in school. Out of 450 plus schools, only 2% are white children out of those 450 plus schools. So people are starting to realize this as they take their children to school, and how these, chimped out invaders treat their children. They're at war. Like in the UK, if they don't go to war right now, their children aren't going to stand a chance. Like if they don't, seriously, in the UK, if they don't go to war immediately within the next year, these young kids who are in all these schools that are being brought up using the tax dollars to replace them, those kids are going to be a minority. And when they get older, they're not going to stand a chance to get them the hell out of their country. And I'm starting to see that in America too. We covered this before. Gen Alpha is a minority. Gen Alpha now is a minority in America. So if we don't go to war and kick these people the hell out of our country, I mean, this is beyond mass deportations. Yeah, we can go run with mass deportations, but Trump's still bringing in a shitload of these people. He just doubled down on the 600,000 Chinese students in America to be the ruling class. He keeps bringing Indians in left, right, and center. Harmeet Dillon says she's going to go after H-1Bs, but she's not going to go after H-1Bs in the tech industry. She's going to go after H-1Bs at Costco, and these H-1Bs from other countries. India makes up most of the H-1Bs. However, there's still a massive amount of H-1Bs from all over these other countries that are in our country right now. She'll target them first because she's Indian, and that's what Indians do. They protect their own because that's their nation, right? That's their people. Indians are very well aware of that. It's like Vivek, this Mam Dammer he's a Muslim Indian, and Vivek is a Hindu Indian, and they're still working together. And Vivek's trying to get Mam Dammer elected in New York because he's Indian, even though he's a total socialist psychopath. So, yeah, it's the same thing. Overwatch, if you want to jump in there, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually had a question for Walter before I asked that question, though. Yeah, like here in Texas, they're not blocking ICE, they're not thwarting them, but they're kind of lying by omission. I mean, like Texas is one of the worst offending states for issuing these jacked up CDL licenses. That got exposed. So they're not really aggressively going after all the holes in their own system, to help ICE. But so that's kind of going on. The deep states in every state, and they're just kind of lying by omission and saying, "Oh, we support ICE, but what about all this malfeasance over here that's letting illegals in and giving them licenses? Oh, well, we'll see what we can do," like they normally do. So, but yeah, and that point you brought up about the Trump with MAGA, he did kind of create a third party without officially creating a third party. Using the Republican Party as a catalyst. So it's kind of an interesting take on that. But my question for Walter was, what about the self-deportations, Walter? What about the policy of Trump? If you leave, we'll give you a plane ticket. If you get caught, you can never apply. And then all these business raids I have been seeing on the news where they've gone to these businesses, is that starting to have an effect on employers at all? And what are the self-employment numbers?
I would say they're sizable, but not sizable enough. I've heard over a few thousand have self-deported thus far. In terms of businesses, I would say local businesses have been hit hard enough, like a lot of these businesses near me, but farming has definitely been pressured by these deportations, and a lot of farmers have been bitching and moaning on social media about it because we've been cracking down on a lot of these farmers who've been trafficking and basically using Mexicans as slave labor. So that's a good thing, objectively speaking. So they're being forced to hire Americans down the line. So that'll be my response to you.
Is there any other policies or things that you see from your side that Trump could implement that would really put the hurt locker on them and make them self-deport en masse?
I would say that once we're done with in terms of agrarian farm industry, we need to start hurting every single local business, no matter if they're a nail salon or something like that, and target that. And that'll pressure those people to leave. But as of now, I would say we've got farming on lock. It's just the rest of these businesses and segments of America with illegals need to be targeted and pressured just as amount as the farmers have been. You just need to broaden the current targeting of illegals in terms of our policy and doctrine. But yeah, go ahead, Rush. I don't want to speak over you.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, it wouldn't let me come off mic. The stupid Meet app. Come off mute. But you really haven't gone after the farmers at all. The farmers have actually been protected. There is that one case in California where they went to the pot farm where they had 13 and 14-year-olds working there. But across the country, ICE really isn't doing anything, nor can they. You can't have a force of tens of thousands of people and expect them to enforce a problem of millions of people. We need to use the full force of the federal government, the full force of our state governments, and we're not doing that in any stance. Even if we spin up all these ICE guys, we get all these ICE officers trained, going around one little business at a time, it will never achieve the goal. It has to be a mass push, and it has to be mass enforcement. The laws are already on the book. I mean, we already have the laws to deport people that are here illegally. We already have the laws to fine businesses that are hiring illegals. It's just a matter of just following those laws. That's what's extremely frustrating about it is The Trump administration touted this as a campaign promise. They were going to do it, and to me, it all seems fake and gay. I understand it takes a while to set up those avenues, but we're not even really changing those laws or creating those avenues at a state level to see massive change.
Well, can I respond
personally, Walter? Yeah,
I would say that there has been an economic impact because of this, though. Like, there's a reason why people are bitching about egg price levels, because during early July, we've had several ice raids on farms and various locations.
The egg price thing was during the Biden administration. It was because of a mass bird flu and mass.
No, but people have still been complaining about a shift in prices that even I've noticed in terms of grocery shopping. There has been a noticeable shift.
Well, the Trump administration will tell you the prices have gone down, so that would be counter to what the information the Trump administration's putting out.
Well, listen, I love the administration, but they're not always truthful, and for their own reasons. I wouldn't admit to that either if I were them. But we have been targeting various farms. Not as much as we should, but there have been documented raids on farms that have been reported.
Which ones other than that marijuana one? That's the only one I've seen.
I could DM you a few if you want after this space.
Yeah, I'm interested to see them. I wanted to see us going after the farmers and making sure if they do have workers here that they're legally here under the H-2B visa program. I don't think they should be here regardless, but we should make sure the farmers are following the same laws everyone else is. I'm not seeing that anywhere, especially outside the state of California. We had 50 states in this country, and I do agree California is the state with some of the biggest problems, but so is Texas, so is Florida, so is New Mexico. We have a lot of problems to address, and it doesn't seem like the Trump administration is addressing them. I could be wrong. We could start seeing massive numbers, but I don't think we are. Right as of right now, the only people that we've deported are criminal migrants that already have deportation orders, that I have seen.
I've already told you guys that in the past. Like, that has been an issue in terms of our doctrine, in terms of just targeting the most extreme examples. I do think that Tom Homan should increase the level of deportations towards people who are just here illegally, and that has been an issue, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my point. Is like Trump said, he's only worried about the ones that are here raping us and robbing us and killing us. And that's after the fact they've already committed crimes against American citizens. And that's when we're going to deport them out of this country. It's to me, it's counterintuitive of everything that the Trump administration promised in regards to the mass deportations. And as a Trump supporter, I'm just a little frustrated at seeing where the administration seems to be going. And I want to hold them accountable. And if they do great things, I'll call them out. If they continue to seem to me what seems like placating and faking gayness, I will continue to call it out. So it's
and I agree with you. And I agree. I've always told you, you guys should pressure Trump and the administration to continue more. And that's why I give as much information as I can for you to pinpoint them and target them on what is the issue currently with what they're doing. So continue with that. I support that.
Wait, Walter, so you're saying that ICE is actually targeting farms?
To some degree, yeah, there have been very contained raids every now and then that even continued from early July when Trump had shifted the policy and overturned the policy that protected farms, which I put in the Jumbotron, which is documented.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is very typical of Trump, by the way. He'll say things like, "Oh, we need to give the hotels and these farms a free pass." They're really pushing for it, and then the reason why he does that is he wants everyone to chimp out and be pissed that farms are getting a free pass for human trafficking. So yeah, it's the problem with these farms, though, and Rush covered this before on the show, but what they don't have permanent workers. They hire these firms to come in with all their illegal workforce to run the harvesting, and then they're gone. And then if something happens, they say, "I don't know, I hired this company, you have to go deal with the company." So, I mean, Rush, you want to cover that now, or it's the same thing that they did with Costco and Walmart. They're starting to. I mean, the government knows they're doing this. The government pretends like, oh, we just figured this out. It's like, this is the biggest scandal. And it's like, yeah, bullshit. You've known this has been going on forever. Even in the first Trump administration, they knew this was going on. This isn't a secret. This isn't rocket science. Like, all these people are getting brought in here and put to work. The government is the one paying for their cell phones. They know where they're living. They're paying their rent. They know where the money's coming from. They see the money going into their account. So this isn't rocket science. The government knows all this stuff. They're just full of shit when they try to pretend like they're shocked. But I guess what other way are you going to have it hit mainstream media and get real attention on these issues?
Yeah, as far as those temporary workers, I mean, corporations are taking advantage of that across the entire spectrum. Rather than hiring someone full time and then having to abide by all the regulations for health care and those types of things, they play this temporary workforce system. But the farmers do it more than others because they need a temporary workforce. Like General said, only during harvest season. And when I was a kid, those companies were owned by white and black Americans. There's a black guy who had a bunch of his friends that were unemployed, and they would come out and pick watermelons, or it was it's the same thing with a white guy. But now those businesses in America are completely 100% dominated by immigrant workforce and invader workforce, you just see busloads of them being transported all over the country that are these invaders, and they're not here legally under H-2B visa programs. These people are, in many cases, are here illegally, and it's overlooked because it is that, it's farming and they're feeding us and putting food on the table, so we're not really going to enforce it type of mentality. And that really has to change in this country. We have plenty of automation. No one's going to starve. The price of food is not going to skyrocket. It's not going to rot in the fields. And we need to stop allowing that being used as an excuse in order to basically steal our own sovereignty away from us.
Yeah, I say fuck the farmers. If they can't do things legally, then what the hell are they doing? They're just being tyrannical and wanting to abuse our system for slave labor. I mean, farmers have always been addicted to slavery. I mean, that's where slavery started in the United States, was with the farmers, right? The cotton picking and all this shit. It's always the farmers who are advocating for slavery and fighting for slavery, and they need to be called out for this bullshit and trying to destroy our country so that they can make an extra, $200,000 a year or whatever. And it's these big companies like China. They own massive amounts of farmland. Bill Gates, he owns massive amounts of farmland. Like, they're these big companies that are the ones, these big corporations, the ones doing this stuff. And they're pushing pressure on the smaller farmers, and Trump needs to go in and address this. He needs to take all this farmland away from China. And yeah, we're going to have some economical issues, but what, are we just going to give our country away? We're just going to give our country away because, our economy might go down for a little while? Our children are going to be genocided because we're afraid to have our economy drop down a little bit? I mean, this is just retarded bullshit that the government plays. Like, it's unacceptable. And they need to be called out. I mean, this is the kind of shit that the founding fathers would hang people for. They try them for treason, convict them of treason, and hang their ass. If they were invading our country or human trafficking people into our country to mass invade us, they would hang them for treason. And same with politicians. So for them to sit there and think that we're just going to accept this because we're too afraid that our economy is going to have a pullback. Well, let the economy pull back to the point where every single Pajit has to fly his ass the hell out of here back to fucking India. Every single Chinaman has to pull back and send his ass back to China. You know, this is what happened. If you guys remember in 2008 when we had the financial crisis, there was lines of Mexicans 10 miles long trying to get back into Mexico. They were all fleeing the country. They were all running because there was no more construction. There was no more jobs for them, and they all fled. Well, that's how you get people out, is by having a recession. You have a pullback, and you kick all these people out. When we talk about Operation Wetback, what sparked that? The Great Depression. In 1929, they grabbed up all the Mexicans and kicked their ass all out of the country. Every single time we run these massive mass deportations, they're always kicked off by recessions or depressions. That's how you get these people the hell out of our country. So all these people who are afraid, and then your economy rebounds really quickly because you've opened up a massive amount of jobs for a lot of people who actually work and pay taxes and invest in America and don't send their money to India or China or Mexico. By the way, those are the three countries for remittance. Is number one, India, number two, Mexico, and number three, China. They're all sending their money back to their countries that they're making here, and they're giving them all the high-end jobs. So we need to get rid of all those people. We need to push them all out. And the way you do that is through recessions and pullbacks and force. So for all these people who keep saying, oh, we might have a recession, good. We need one. That's how you get all these people the hell out of our country. When there's no jobs for these people, they leave on their own. When you prevent them, you stop paying their rent, you stop paying their bills, you stop paying for their food, and you stop hiring them, giving them jobs, they leave on their own. They self-deport. We've seen this happen. So I don't understand why everyone keeps saying, we need the money, like Trump. These guys who are money hungry are the ones who do not want mass deportation. They just want to keep all these people here. Well, we need an economic pullback, either caused by forcing to fire all these people at once, and them having to scramble and hire Americans to keep their companies afloat, or just have a massive recession where we're going to push all these people the hell out of our country. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science, and we've seen it happen in our lifetime. This has happened in our lifetime. It's not shocking.
Yeah, and I feel like we have foreclosures looming. They keep touting the stock market's going to go down. Every time the stock market doesn't see gains, they say, oh, Trump's tariffs, concerns over Trump's tariffs. They've been trying to tout any stock market fall over the past 6 months to Trump. So, yeah, Trump is going to take the brunt of that blame if we do have an economic recession. But I feel like it's looming because of real estate and a massive real estate bubble that was put into the market that is inevitably going to have to fall out. So it is kind of unfortunate the Trump administration is going to be blamed for that. But over the weekend in Chicago, I saw numbers as high as 87 shot in Chicago and 35 shot in the St. Louis, Minneapolis area. Just the massive shootings across this country. Only a couple deaths, because they're not very good at shooting. But that same demographic in America just keeps continuing to plague us every holiday weekend in this country and commit a large amount of shootings. Just a video from that, and statistics of laying out the major cities in America along with their black population. So it makes no surprise that the cities that have 68 per capita, per 100,000 capita murder rate also have 68 and 70 black populations. It's pretty crazy statistics when you lay them out like that. But it seems to continue to be ignored because we'll get one little blurb on Fox News about the numbers, but we won't get any extent of the stories. They won't do wall-to-wall coverage on any of the mass shootings. And then ignorantly enough, the black community just thinks that, oh, well, there is no murders or crime in our community. We only see the ones about white transgenders shooting up schools. So it's exactly how they brainwash an entire population is by placating these games. But yeah, Overwatch, jump back in there, buddy.
Hey, Rush, do you think the President Trump's recently said he's going to go into Chicago? I mean, I know they have mass shootings all the time there. So is this out of the norm, or is this something they usually don't report on it? So is this part of that campaign to justify going in there, you think, on part of the administration to start broadcasting this out there more through the news cycle, maybe, so they can drum up even more support to go in there and clean that hornet's nest out?
Possibly, and I'm kind of for that. If we could have seen that effect in the DC area, if they could have used that as a reason to go in there, and we know they're not going to go in there and actually solve the crime problem, but if in the guise of that they could go in and do mass deportations, it would be an amazing thing. But that's not really what we saw in the DC area. I think they had around 300 to 400 deportations in the 2-week time span. And they did seem to be going after illegals more, but it wasn't a mass immigration by any means. And it's the same with Chicago. They're not going to be able to go in there with the National Guard and solve the crime problem in Chicago. It's the demographics of Chicago. So, I mean, really, we're going to have to, if we can use that, though, to get mass deportations, because Chicago is one of those cities where Abbott was busing busloads of migrants up into Chicago, up into New York City. They've been living on government housing ever since then. It would be too easy to go into that city, go into one of those government housings where all these illegal immigrants were being put up in the hotels and those temporary housing situations, and just round all those people up. But that's not what we saw in New York City. I don't think it's what we're going to see in Chicago. In Chicago, the mayor is adverse to the Trump administration. We keep going into all these cities where the mayors and the government are completely adverse to the Trump administration. I don't understand that. If we really wanted to start producing numbers and start doing these mass deportations, we would start in states like Texas and Florida, where supposedly the governors are on board to address the immigration crisis. And we can work with multiple states at a time, because all these states have their own local law enforcement, their own local National Guard, National Air Guard type of forces, so they would be able to address this at a local level. But Overwatch, I have to step out. I don't know if Twiddle wants to jump in, and Overwatch, if you can keep it rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I can step in for a moment. I've put a few things down in the pill. Also, good morning, everybody. First thing I put down there, we touched on, we jumped around a little bit this morning, but coming back to Michigan, something that I saw, I was trying to find, Laura Loomer posted, here it is. It says, a shocking video, must watch. It says, Michigan's People's Conference.
I'm posting that right now.
Okay, cool. I won't touch on that then. But that's just one of them. I saw this imam in Boston calling. That one was even worse, in my opinion. He just the way he said it. He said, "What's wrong with you sick white Americans? Go back to Europe, because you've done nothing but cause hell in this country and all over the world." This is a guy in Boston, probably in a church that they bought out, turned into a mosque. But yeah, on some of that stuff, and then some other geopolitic news we can touch on later. But yeah, that one right there I put down the pill is concerning, because you see all this push, even from Harmy Dillon, like pushing for Islam. But when there is really, like, all of us are screaming about H1B, we're still concerned with Islam, but H1B thing is quite the bigger issue, in my opinion. But they are pushing for the Islamic terror. Like, they're trying to say, like, they all need to get out. They already canceled all the Palestinian passports like 2 days ago. So yeah, it's just I can't keep up with this stuff, guys.
Well, one of the things that pissed
pisses me off is these Muslims that come out of their mosque. They got friggin' mosques everywhere. They build them left and right, and they want to come out in the middle of the day because I guess they pray 5 times throughout the day, and they want to shut streets down and pray in the middle of the street. And we know what that is. We know it's a show of dominance. It's bullshit. There's probably a mosque, less than 500 feet away, and they get away with this. They get away with disabling traffic and all the overseas and over here. They have special a lot of the mosques up in North Texas. The police force will come out and protect them and direct traffic and all this stuff. I know they do that for other churches, but you don't see Catholics, filing out of their church, or Protestants filing out of their churches, clogging up traffic, shutting the city down, and going, well, it's our right to pray. Screw you guys. They need to arrest those people. And if they scream, anti this or anti that, sorry, go pray in your mosque. They've got to stop these dominance behaviors. It's ridiculous. It really frustrates me.
I mean, not only you see the praying in the streets, but you see you guys have probably seen it, a bunch of them out there with their shirts off, smacking themselves in the chest. That's like a thing that Islam has done forever. It's like a war prep thing. I've seen that in Europe. I've seen that in Dearborn. I've seen that, well, not personally, but like just videos and stuff. But in Dearborn and Idaho the other day, they were doing it. I haven't seen it too much down my parts, but yeah, especially up in like Dearborn, Michigan, and the high Muslim areas of the country. Trump's supposed to be talking at 2:00 today. Don't know what he's gonna have to say, but he hasn't seen or spoken to media, and today will be a week. Amongst the rumors that we all saw online, that he was dead and gone. So something's gonna happen. Thomas Massey is gonna be meeting with 10 victims of Jeffrey Epstein, and they're gonna all. This is gonna be on Wednesday, not today. Unless today is Wednesday, not today's. It says Thomas Massey to meet with 10 victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They're gonna break their silence. So there's a lot of stuff popping off right now. I did see, where is it, one more thing? Yeah, there's one more thing down in the pill. We were talking about RFK earlier, RFK Jr. There's a nice, really good thread about how damaging the CDC has been over time. And basically it's not only just like about medicine, it's about control, and it's just like a spiritual warfare and a whole bunch of stuff. But that's down in the pill too, if anyone wants to see that. Thank you.
Well, another big thing, real quick. Sorry, Ivy, or whoever that was. But the other way, not just big pharma. Well, I guess it is big pharma, but they control these doctors, not just with money. They can all, like, a lot of doctors have had their license to practice pulled because the licensing organizations are infiltrated with these big pharma people. So if they don't toe the line, even if you have doctors that want to do the right thing, and we saw that during COVID, they will pull their license and then they can't be doctors anymore. That needs to be fixed. It's supposed to be, those organizations are supposed to make sure the doctors are following a Hippocratic oath and following good standards, but they've been corrupted to say, if you don't practice this medical agenda, you're out. And that's another big problem, aside from the kickbacks and payments for the shots and stuff like that. I'll end it.
Oh, hi, good morning, everybody. I hope you have a nice weekend. When you're talking about domination of Islam, that's correct. Here in Saudi, I don't see. Maybe you have some policeman himself on the street because he's in patrol, but you will not see that on the street what they're doing in Europe and United States, because they are here. This is their land. But in Europe, it's everywhere. Even in New York, I saw New York, all this chest pumping, whatever. It's a huge problem, and it's all Muslim Brotherhood. Here in GCC, they are terrorist organization. They are forbidden to even operate here. But in UK, you have like big sign where they are, what they are doing, and And new statistics show that second generation of these people, it's more radicalized than that first one that came in Europe or United States. It's a huge problem. Another thing, yesterday I saw Venezuela president. He said that this is all run by what is his name, Rubio, and that's correct. That's 100% true, because Rubio now doing things for Cuba, because Cuba is 100% depend on the oil from Venezuela. So Rubio wants to help Cuba by removing Maduro from presidency. It doesn't. I don't think that there is anything to do with drugs there. And guy who they want to replace is supposed that guy is the main guy who's dealing with all drugs in that country, and they want to replace Maduro with that one. How much you can believe that guy, I don't know, but Marco Rubio, yeah, it's on his back to help his people, not American people. I will land for now.
Yeah, I mean, Marco Rubio, we already did a breakdown on him. About how his degeneracy and his nonsense. He's trying to blame China. He's trying to blame everyone except for Hispanic people, the Latinos, because he's a Latin. He's trying to keep the wars with Russia going. He's trying to keep all these conflicts going because he's a deep state member, and people are so stupid. You have these guys like Gunther Eagleman, who is a full-blown retard. He's been into politics this whole time. He's been watching all of this. He was pissed when Trump even picked Marco Rubio, and now he's like, Marco Rubio should be the vice president under JD Vance. Like, dude, how cooked out can you be, and how retarded can you actually be? With all of these guys are just, they're crazy how cooked out these people are. I don't know. This is when people say MAGA is retarded. This is why they say MAGA is retarded, because they just go along and they're like, Marco Rubio did some good things. He's the best thing that's ever happened. He's the best Secretary of State that's ever lived, and it's just like, you guys are so cringe. He's a lifetime. He is literally a lifetime rhino, and he's stabbed everybody in the back every step of the way. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But again, you have the MAGA that are just gonna can't trust the plan. We need to just do whatever they say all the time. Blah blah blah. All right, well, this app is a total cheat app, and it won't let me make this post. Surprise, surprise. Will not allow me to upload this video. That does not surprise me one bit anymore. But they do not want these narratives pushed out here. They're trying whatever they can to prevent people from exposing these narratives. They want, I mean, the fact that we can't even upload a simple video now.
It's happened to me all the time when it's something controversial. You will not allow me to upload video.
Yeah, so much for freedom of speech on this app. But let me try to figure this out. I am free. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Monday, but Tuesday. Couple of things. So, Chicago, weekend of shootings. And I believe there were announcements that the feds were going to go into there this week or after Labor Day and hopefully start massive deportations. Some interesting things in the news from Minneapolis that are being pushed. Ilhan Omar, the Somalian crazy lady who's found fraud and made her way to the U.S. House of Representatives, She started in politics, I believe, less than 10 years ago. The only reason she's even here is immigration fraud. She married her brother. She was in debt $45,000. And now her net worth has ballooned to $30 million because she married this white man who has a Democratic political strategy company.
He's a Jew.
They always are. Right? It's funny that you say that. But then also in Minneapolis, the feds are currently detaining, I guess he has an ICE detainer, this, I don't know his name, Ibram something or other. It's in my feed. They're detaining this Somalian spokesperson. And apparently he's got a criminal record, again, immigration fraud. Like he's on the edge of deportation. Of course, some judge, intervened at the last minute. But I find it interesting that these things are starting to move into more of the public narrative, into the news feeds, if you will. I look at that as preparations for, hopefully, mass deportations. I really loved your comment, General, about the schools. Like, we need more than just getting rid of the criminal invaders. We need them all to go. There should be ICE checkpoints at every school in America. There should be ICE checkpoints at every church in America, at every grocery store in America. Like, I'm not one for the police state, but man, we need to adopt this ideology for as long as it takes to get these invaders out of our country. I'll land it there.
Yeah, well, it's a big problem. When they sit up there and openly state, we're not going anywhere, you can't do anything, and then they sit there and say, we're going to start assassinating Americans if you guys don't do what we tell you to do. We have control in Congress. Like, okay, so you're just telling us we got to go up to Congress with our militias and start taking people out for treason. All right, thanks for letting us know. And if you want to start going to war, you just called for war in America. Let's get our militias and go to war with these people and kick them all the hell out. They've become so emboldened because we haven't done anything to really push back. They think we're never going to push back. But now they're talking about conquering our country and openly stating that they're going to mobilize and wage war on us and conquer. This is where the rhetoric has gotten now, because we've been so silent and we haven't really pushed back. We've done nothing. We're sitting there waiting for Trump to do something, and Trump is not doing shit. Trump keeps saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that. We're waiting for him to handle the banks, but he's letting our children become minorities and overrun by these people, and then allowing them to get on here and call for the assassination of politicians and to mobilize and take over, conquer, go to war with us. And there's nothing being done about that. And this has been said how many times from Rashida Tlaib, how many times from Ilhan Omar, all these politicians. And nobody's doing anything. Trump.
Another interesting, sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, go ahead.
Along those lines, another very interesting thing that happened here in Minneapolis over the weekend was like 5,000 white liberals got together and did a march from one lake to another lake. Minneapolis is the city of lakes. And of course, there's a bill pending in the state house to ban assault rifles and high-capacity magazines. And along those lines of what you're saying is, what I thought was very interesting is, of course, they show this on the news, and I usually don't watch the mainstream news, but I do like to watch it to keep track of the narratives that they're pushing. And not one single person out there waving an American flag saying, with open carry, like saying, fuck you, you're not taking my guns, right? This is how this begins. It's this constant push back and forth and back and forth. And it just blew me away that there was nobody out there. Now, this is in the city of Minneapolis, Dan, and a very taken over, affluent, liberal area. But not one red-blooded American standing out there with an American flag and an AR over their shoulder saying, fuck you. Like, we have to push back at this insanity. And you've got stories out of the New York Times, or we may never know the motive of the Annunciation shooting that happened last weekend. Are you kidding me? The amount of brainwashing that this trans bullshit, globo, woke, homo, whatever you want to call it, you're actually telling an audience of more than one person we're not going to know the motive behind it. It's mental illness, right? I mean, anyone with a brain sees that. Oh, let's continue to pump them up with hormones and SSRIs and, indoctrinate them into something that is completely unnatural. We don't know the motive. Anyone who looks at this, who has a brain, goes, are you crazy? And they got 5,000 people to march? Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, this is the problem. You have these retarded liberals or these Democrats who just want to destroy America. And again, they're Democrats. So what are you going to do? I got called a race traitor, evil person because we support Trump by the Southern Democrats, the KKK Democrats down there in the South. You're a Northern Yank who supports Trump. You're just a race traitor. Like, have you seen your party lately, buddy? Like, your entire party is all brown people. Like, how is supporting Trump make somebody a race traitor over this Democratic Party that these Democrats put in all these brown people who are now chanting, let's kill Americans, all Americans, you're on stolen land, you need to get out of here, go back to Europe so we can take it from you as brown people, and we didn't have to kill anybody, we just told you to get out and you left. It's just fucking crazy. These Democrats, even these like, still, like, this KKK type retards of the South who are still stuck on this Democrat retarded shit. These people are so fucking cooked, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. These people are so fucked. So, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, the Democrat Party is completely cooked out. All these invaders, they all come through the Democrat Party. Now Trump is trying to push them into the Republican Party. He's got Dylan up there at the civil rights, and we're gonna end the oppression of white Christian men. Then every time she's hiring somebody new and swearing them, it's always like a Juan Cholo or Jose. And I was like, yeah, you're still operating on you're still doing the same shit that you've always done. And you're not even hiring blacks. You're hiring fucking Juan Cholos and all these other people. The civil rights stuff was designed for black people, and she's not even hiring any black. She's hiring all these other invaders from all these other countries. So it just makes you wonder how these people become so retarded. Like, how do you get that retarded? But I guess that's kind of like the stereotype of like the retarded Southern hillbilly still supporting the Democrat Party because they think they're gonna racially save America while they've put every single brown person on the planet into their party and taken over. I mean, the only white people in the Democrat Party are now like Nancy Pelosi, who can't even hold her own shit in, or like this Elizabeth Warren, you know, Pocahontas, older than dirt, sitting up there lying to everybody, claiming she's a native Indian redskin. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And then they're bringing in all these invaders, like Dahlia Ramirez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. What else? I mean, all the degenerates, all of them, all of the foreign invaders. That's who they've decided to fill their party up with. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but now they're coming in Republican Party.
Retarded people. It's really hard to deal with retards. Yeah, go ahead, Ivy.
Yeah, but now they are loading all these retards in the Republican Party.
Yeah, that's Trump, and that's the part where everyone's calling Trump out because he keeps pulling all these brown invaders from other countries and throwing them into the mix, and then at the same time, we're gonna stop white hate and discrimination against white. Like, motherfucker, you're not doing shit. Trump, your old saggy fucking faggot ass is not doing shit on this front. Go ask the guys in Cincinnati that got their brain kicked in all over the street, and then they still charged the white guy and let the kid who beat the hell out of him go. Yeah? Go ask that guy. What about the Rampage Jackson shit that happened? Go ask that guy. Go ask all these people. Harmeet Dillon's stupid ass, brown ass piece of shit isn't doing anything. She's not doing jack. She's just hiring a bunch of invaders to fill up the civil rights at the DOJ, Civil Rights Department, sitting up at the RNC, doing her little demon worship dance in front of everybody and going to war against Americans. That's all she's done. And she says she's gonna stop it. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. We've seen it. Every single case that comes up, we see it again and again. And then they use the DOJ's propaganda wing, the CRS, to demonize the white people. Go look at the Austin Metcalf case. So, I mean, at this point, Trump won't even talk to us. He won't even talk to white America. Period. He won't even address us. He doesn't even have the nutsack to address us. He'll grab them all by the pussy, but he can grab himself by the pussy because he doesn't have the balls to even talk to us. Trump's a fucking fat ass pussy because he doesn't even have the nutsack to sit there and talk to us. He won't even mention us while we're getting obliterated, and then he wonders why we're pissed. And then he's filling up the Republican Party with a bunch of fucking Viveks and Harmeet Dillons and Jay Chakaraka. All these people who are Indian, born in India. Oh, the AI guy, I can't even say his name. Shit, the last time I tried to say the guy from the AI's name, my furniture started fucking floating. It's like a fucking, it's just crazy. This is the kind of shit that we're dealing with. And people are sick of it. And Trump's a lifetime Democrat. He's doing his same Democrat bullshit now. And he's trying to, we're going to do this. You're not doing shit. We're going to do mass deportations, what? 176,000? That's not mass deportations. He's just banking on people being retarded and keep cheering this shit on while he destroys America. People are sick of it. People are absolutely sick of it. We have these invaders in our country right now calling for war against us, and he's not even moving his ass. He's too afraid. Like, someone needs to grab Trump by the pussy and throw his ass right out the front fucking door and tell him, start moving your ass. They're at war with us. They're trying to kill us. They want to kill our children. They're trying to genocide us. Stop being a fucking pussy and start fixing this shit. because that's what they need to do. This is getting out of control. They have a summit out here where they're calling to assassinate politicians in the USA. It won't even let me, this Harmony Dillon's people, her national Jeep app, won't even allow me to post the clip. They're not even allowing us to post the clip because it makes their people look bad. I'll put it up there. This is the post from Laura Loomer. Go look at the guy. He's sitting there calling for the assassination of American politicians in US, Israel, and Europe to be assassinated if they oppose a Palestinian state. And then you have Rashida Tlaib out of Dearborn, Michigan, getting up there and saying, we're not fucking going anywhere. We need to mobilize and take over. We control Congress now. Well, Trump, you big pussy, what are you going to do about it? Who's going to grab Trump by the pussy and smack him in the face and get him to wake the fuck up and do something about this? Anybody? Because he's riding somebody's dick with his pussy because he's not doing shit about it.